All right, let's move ahead with the next one. We're going to do a 3x3 matrix now. This will be the same as a 2x2 matrix. We're still going to start in the top corner and work our way down. And we're going to grab all of these diagonal numbers here. We're going to multiply those together. And again, since I'm going from the left to the right, those will be positive. When we go to grab the next diagonal, we have a 2 and a 1, and we're actually missing a number down here in the corner. If I were to grab the next diagonal, this one is actually missing 2 numbers. And we're going to need those numbers in order to do the math. In order to do the math, we're going to need those numbers. So there is one little mechanic that we're going to do. We're going to grab these 2 rows and repeat them. So I'm going to write a 4, a -3, and a 2. And then I grab the next row, -2, 10, and 6. And I just repeat those numbers like that. As a result, now I have enough numbers where I can grab all the numbers from the diagonal. We're going to take the 4, the 10, and the -1, and we're going to multiply those together. 4 times 10 times -1. Then we're going to grab the -2, the 1, and the 2, and we're going to put those together. And we'll add them. Again, since I'm going left to right, this is going to be a plus sign. -2 times 1 times 2. Then we'll grab the next set of numbers. This will be easy because it's 0. So 0 times -3 times 6. And we'll add that, plus 0 times -3 times 6. Now we're going to grab the ones that are starting this way, and we're going to go backwards. So when I take -1, -3, and -2, and I multiply those together, we're going to subtract those. So minus -2 times -3 times -1. And we'll subtract the next group. We have a 4, a 1, and a 6. So we're going to subtract 4 times 1 times 6. Then we're going to grab the next group. We have the 0, the 10, and the 2, and that's going to be easy because we got a 0 in it. And we're going to subtract 0 times 10 times 2. We'll do all that math. Now that we have it all written out, we're going to do all that math. Take your time, do your integer rules correctly, and that'll be the answer. It's going to end up being one thing. So let's go ahead and do the math on this. 4 times 10 times -1 is a -40. -2 times +2 times 1 is a -4. 0 times -3 times 6 is a 0. Then we've got our other numbers way down here. -2 times -3 times a -1 will actually be a -6. But keep in mind, we're subtracting this -6. A negative times a negative is a positive, times a negative is a -6. And we're subtracting this -6, so we're really going to add 6 there. -4 times 1 times 6 is a -24. And -0 times 10 times 2 is just going to be 0. All right, we're going to add that fun together. -4 and -40 is going to be a -44. 6 and -24 is a -18. -44 minus 18 is going to be a -62. So the answer for the determinant of A is going to be a -62. And I clearly wrote a 64. So let me go back. That was silly of me. This is -62. And that would be our answer. All right. So the diagonals going from left to right, we added together. The diagonals going from right to left, we subtracted. So make sure you use your integer rules correctly and subtract correctly. And our answer is a -62. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. Once again, I'm going to rewrite the row. We have a 2, a 5, and a 10. We have a -3, a 1, and a 3. All right. So now I'm going to grab the diagonals with different colors. I'm going to grab the 2, the 1, and the -1 and multiply them. 2 times 1 times -1 is a -2. I'm going to grab -3 times -2 times 10. This is going to be a +6 times 10 is 60. And we'll grab the last one. We got 4 times 5 times 3. 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 times 3 is 60. So we have another 60 there. Now we're going to go the other way. I'm going to grab the -3, the 5, and the -1. -1 times -3 is a +3 times 5 is 15. Since we went from the right to the left, we're going backwards. This is going to be a -15. We have 2, -2, and a 3. 2 times 3 is 6, times -2 is a -12. And we're going to subtract a -12. Yeah, once again, it was going backwards, so we had to subtract that. 4 times 1 times 10 is 40. And again, it's going backwards, so we're going to subtract that 40. Now all I have to do is a little bit of simple math. 60 and 60 is 120. So 60 plus 60 is 120. Minus 40 is 80. And then let's go ahead and do 80 minus 2, which is 78, minus 15, minus a -12. Just writing the math down to do the math in my head. We're really going to, whenever you're subtracting a negative, you're really adding a positive. So 78 plus 12 is going to be 90. And 90 minus 15 is going to be 75. So the answer to that one is 75. Now, I understand that there is a lot of just tedious work. It's not difficult work. You're multiplying some numbers together. You're adding a couple of integers together. It doesn't take long, right? It's not a half an hour type spiel, but there is a mechanic to it, and you have to take your time. If you do it incorrectly, you could easily, that 75 could be something different, and you get the question wrong. So take your time, make sure you're doing it right, and that's it. On the next video, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more examples, but that's it. That's all that's going to be on the lesson. There are a couple more practice problems that you can do here on this on these notes, but you also have your preparation tab in the classroom. Guys, go through and do that work. Make sure you know what's going on. You're more than welcome to meet with me on the Google Meet. You can send me questions in the classroom, and I'll do a video on those. Let me know what kind of issues you have. Your quiz is going to be over 2x2 and 3x3 determinants. And that's it. I'm going to give you a handful of 2x2s, a couple of 3x3s, and you'll be ready to rock. There's no not possible on these. The answer is just going to be whatever the answer is. So it should happen pretty quickly. That's that. All right, guys. We'll see you on the other side in the digital world. Have a good one.